Welcome into Outside Shots. I am not Saul Bookman. I am Espo. And alongside one of the self-proclaimed greatest Phoenix Suns of all time, it's Jump Shot Eddie Johnson. EJ, how are you, my friend?
Who are you?
The best co-host you've ever had.
You haven't done anything yet.
I'm still better than I'm the best.
You Michael J. Fox? I mean, you in the future now?
Well, no.
Well, tell me, give me a lottery number.
Yeah, you already got enough. You don't need any more.
No, it's good sitting here with you. I'm glad I don't have to deal with Saul for a week. What is he doing anyway? What's wrong with him?
He's got some things to take care of. So
does he?
I'm a kinder, gentler general manager. So I said, hey, you take the time you need. You go take care of things. So.
Well, I mean, you couldn't have been a starter, so you would have to be you would have to be a bench guy.
This actually brings me to my first thing I want to talk to you about. Because you always bring this up. You bring it up online. You've brought it up on the show before. You talk this to
serious.
people.
Let me take my glasses off. Go ahead.
Am I a water boy or a couch potato? I need to know. We need to get this out of the way right off the top, all right?
All right. Well, let's go through the definition again.
Please do.
For some of our first-time viewers. A couch potato is a guy that comments on social networking or wherever it may be, and he's never experienced anything about exertion. Like, he just lies on the couch eating potato chips, eating hot dogs, and he's hoping that he was that guy. And he's criticizing guys while they're playing, calling them bums, and he didn't even know how to play injured. He probably stay home from work because he got a toothache or a headache. And he doesn't really study the game much other than cheer for the game. That's most college fans. Okay? I'll be honest.
Okay.
College fans just cheer for their team. They don't care who's playing well, who doesn't. They just want the W. And that's fine. That's how they roll, and that's good for them. So the couch potato is the one that will come on my timeline and he'll say something stupid like, he's a buster. And give me no definition, explanation about why he just called him a buster.
Okay.
That's a couch potato. Water boy is a person that actually has some knowledge about the sport. He studies it like yourself. You study the game. You work every day. You have been in it for a long time. I have a lot of respect for you because it's one of the kindest things I'm ever say to you. Because you actually do understand the game. So there's levels of water boy. So that's it. I mean, you didn't play it at a high level, so you can't be a player. But these are not offensive words. They're really words of love.
All right. Well,
okay, they're words of love. They're like, I'm just putting you in your place. Like, if I commented on, I argue all the time, but I'm not a lawyer. So if I'm in a room with a bunch of lawyers, they're going to call me a water boy. They're not going to call me a couch potato because I did grow up watching Perry Mason and watching CSI and watching all of these shows and trying to learn. I even worked in a law firm for like 4 years of my college career because I wanted to be a lawyer. I even studied for the LSAT. Okay? I was actually set up to go to law school. So I had a lot of experience, right, in law, but I wasn't a lawyer. So that's a water boy. That's all. Well, there you go. You're a water boy.
That is
high-level water boy.
We've known each other for 13 years now, and that is the nicest thing you've ever said to me. So I appreciate it. You said there's levels to it, though. So I'm going to, since now I've officially been in the number 2 chair next to you, even though it's only been a few minutes, me, Tom Leander, And Kevin Ray, rank us in Waterboy standings.
No, you all level one.
All right.
You're level one water boys.
All right. I'll take it.
Tom Leander, I don't know, K-Ray never talks about his basketball career. Tom Leander at least admits he went to Brophy and he never even got on the damn floor unless he had to get up and pick a towel up that one of the players dropped. I don't know, what your experience is in regards to, sports.
Well, I can tell you, I thought I was going to be able to be the power forward of the Phoenix Suns when I was 9. By 11, I realized I was just going to be the manager of my 7th grade basketball team. So that's...
you were around the guy.
I was.
Like, you experienced the coach in his motivational speeches. And you were I know you were very intuitive and you were very concentrated on learning the game. That's what you do. I've known you for a number of years. So, yeah, I have a lot of respect for you.
All right. I'm very uncomfortable with how kind this has been. So let's get into some basketball talk so we can go back to our usual trash talking between the two of us. The Phoenix Suns had some news over the weekend. Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, both practiced. They've both been out with calf strains. It looks like that this team may be at full strength when they come back after this 5-day break on Tuesday. Coach Bud talked about it. Tyus Jones talked about it. Monte talked about how important it is for these guys to be on the court. But Eddie, when you look at it, how good is this team with all 3 of those guys? Are they actually as good as their start, or is it somewhere in between this losing streak and the start that they had?
No, they're very good. Look, they were 9-2. They were 9-2 with everybody. And they were winning games, not dominating teams. They were winning close games, but they had a lot of confidence, felt that they can win out there on the court. Their last big win against Dallas, and Dallas was huge. That gives you an idea. Like, think about it. Like, before the injury happened to KD, and then a couple of games later, Bradley Beal, they were at 8-1, I believe, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And they were just winning games. It was like the hierarchy of the team and how that person was flowing. KD at that time was playing at an MVP level. You can just tell that they just knew they would win games. And that was obviously messed up with the injuries. So, no, this team is legit, man. You got to get consistent play out of certain players, and they know it. I mean, Nurkic has to be more consistent. Our bench, I don't worry about it. Grayson, obviously, I had a great interview with Grayson yesterday. That'll be on Suns pre and post game here coming up. I don't know, in a few days or whatever, but it was a great interview with him. But Grayson has been rocked a little bit. Obviously, the birth of his beautiful daughter, Elmsley. Okay, and so he and Morgan had their first child, and so that throws you off, right? And then he had, I think, the hamstring issue, so he missed a few games. Royce O'Neal, in and out of the lineup. Kogi just got back. Like, it's a lot of things that can be really fixed up when everybody's whole again. So I'm looking forward to it. It seems like they'll be back tomorrow, which is great because it's an in-season tournament game with the Lakers, and we definitely have to win this if we have aspirations to go to Vegas. So it's going to be a good week, hopefully.
Well, you went through what Grayson went through in your career. I mean, you have children, and obviously during your playing days, you dealt with, being a player and a father. What is that like? I mean, how much does it throw off your game? Because people are very concerned about how Grayson is shooting and playing when he's out there. How much does that actually impact things?
Well, fortunately for me, because EJ, quite honestly, knew how to plan. EJ knew how to plan everything. So, had my kids right before the season. In August.
You knew the math.
Both of my kids are August babies. Yeah. Hey, you ready? All right, we do it. August. Because I'm the machine,
How you're the smooth shooter.
Yeah, the machine. Oh, that was kind of deep right there. I'm not going to go. Wow. Okay, but yeah, So that's the key right there. But if you can't plan, and obviously some can't, then it could happen during the season. So I didn't experience it, but obviously my kids were still young before the season started. And so it's and people out there with kids, it's funny. Like, it's just the late night work you got to do. And you just can never sleep, right? You can just never sleep because you're lying there and it's like you hear this noise. And you got 1 foot out the bed because it's your turn, right, to get up. And that's the funniest thing because you don't know if they're getting ready to cry or they're just like in their sleep and you're like, oh. Then they stop and you put your leg back in the bed. That messes with your sleep, right? So I would think that's the only thing. And Grayson talked about that in our interview. But it's a great feeling, man. And I think you're floating on a cloud and it can kind of distort your values a little bit. Basketball takes us, it moves back, right? Second in your life at that point in time because you're just enamored with getting home and you're seeing this little human that's looking at you and trying to figure out who the heck you are. I mean, like, man, please, man, that was like the best time for everybody that's had kids, it's just to go back and experience that. So yeah, it's been an adjustment for him, and he admits it, and so hopefully it'll get better.
I think fans are underrating that factor. A lot of them want to point to, oh, he gained muscle, it affected his shot, it changed his shot, all those things. Oh, he just isn't as good as he was last year. I'm like, no, when you have a kid like that, it's like setting off a nuclear bomb in your life, especially the first one. It changes everything so dramatically that it's got to change his preparation and everything too, because you now are going home to that child, your wife that's, taking care of this child all the time. Like it's very different. I think that's got to be changing everything.
And the ones that saying that, the ones that are really being aggressive and saying that, they're couch potatoes because they haven't had any kids.
Yeah. And they probably haven't had any muscle either.
Right, right. So. And then the other ones, if they are saying it, you didn't take care of your kid. Watch yourself. You're a water boy. Right. You had a kid, but you're not taking care of him.
Yeah.
Like, the missus is getting up. She's doing everything, and you're not doing anything. So you have to be careful when you say that. No, look, you can lift weights. Man, from when I got to college, I weighed 185 pounds. They were knocking me around so much that Lou Henson at the time was my coach in college. He said, Eddie, you can play, you can shoot, but it's hard to shoot when you lying on your back. Because they were knocking the stew out of me. I was skinny.
Yeah.
And it affected my playing time. And I was an All-American going there. And people were looking at me like, man, you're not even playing, man. You should transfer. Like, nope, I know what I need to do. Went in the weight room, came back my sophomore year. I weighed 225. I literally put on 35 plus pounds.
And did it change your shot?
It ain't changed nothing. I shot better, okay, because I stretched. People, that's the biggest myth going. I used to lift weights before games because I knew how to do it. You don't put heavy weights. You just put reps. You're doing reps with lightweight. You're just getting stronger. I mean, I had to lift before every game. And you can see how good I shot the damn ball. So it has nothing to do with that at all.
Come on, you lifted to look good, right?
Well, of course I had to get my six. I had to keep my six pack together. Come on now.
We actually have Coach Bud yesterday at practice talked about likely getting KD and Beal back, as well as Tyus Jones and Monte Morris also talked about it. Let's hear from them.
Everybody thinks about the offensive boost, but I think there's a defensive boost that we get with those two guys.
We lost some games, but, we didn't have around like 45 to 50 points that's usually out there. So, that's a bright thing, just to have them back and, get things back to regular. So, feel good.
Kay and Brad do a lot for us. They carry a lot of the weight, for us, and so that was, a big loss. Not having, one of them is a big loss, but not having both of them was huge.
How obviously the 50 points not being there in the lineup is a huge deal, but you heard Coach Bud talk about the defensive side of the ball. I think this is where Kevin Durant and in particular Bradley Beal don't get enough credit for what they've done this year and last year as well. How big of an impact is those two guys coming back going to have on the defensive end of the floor?
Well, it works both ways. And this is the hardest part for people to understand because they want to look at offense and defense. But they don't understand that a great offense allows you to play great defense. And I'll give you an example, a couple of examples. One, let's go all the way back to the 80s. With Showtime, right?
Mm-hmm.
With Magic and Worthy and Byron Scott, Kareem, Michael Cooper. You were so afraid to go to the offensive glass to get a missed shot because if you didn't get it, they were gone. Mm-hmm. Layup. So what you did was you didn't fight it. Shot went up. You're thinking getting back. So what did that do for them? It made their defense look unreal. Because why? They didn't have to fight for rebounds.
Yeah.
You didn't get second chances. You're going to have to beat them with your first chance. So it allowed them to go back balanced too on defense because the way they ran the floor, they kept a balanced floor. And so that's what defense is about too, is getting back in unison and not be susceptible to teams being able to score on you because you got great balance. So it starts with your offense. Another example, the Detroit Pistons, the bad boys, they played an ugly brand of offense. They walked it up. They exhausted the shot clock. Their floor was balanced. And when they missed, they were back in unison. So now it took away your ability to score quickly on them. Now you got to score in the half court. Whereas back in that time, it wasn't a lot of three-point shots. So everything was condensed. So now it's difficult to score. They got good defenders. They can be able to exert and show what they can do, like Rodman, Joe Dumars, even Isaiah, Lambert. And so what happened is it cut your defense, it cut your offense down. Here in today's game, Golden State, same way. The reason why they're playing good D and they're rated high now is because they're always balanced. Okay? I'm not fearful of their individual guys as defenders, but what they do is they get back in unison and they make you work. They don't give up easy shots. They don't turn it over. That helps your defense. When the Suns don't turn it over, and they haven't turned it over because Tyus Jones is on the team now, they've had great balance getting back, and now teams have had a hard time at times scoring against them. That's all it is. Some people just want to go to defense. No. It's offense. You're not turning it over. You're not giving up second chance rebounding, and you're running your offense with good spacing. Your defense is going to improve. That's just the way it is. And sometimes people are not in depth enough to see that. They just want to go offense, defense, or they want to go with the analytical numbers. But the analytical numbers will improve if your offense improves and gets better. Because a happy offensive guy is a concentrated, focused defensive guy.
Damn.
Trust me, I was that guy, right? So when I was getting my touches and things were flowing well, I was engaged to get back there and defend better, right? Mm-hmm. But because if I'm not getting touches and I'm not getting my shots and I'm just watching everybody shoot, then how engaged am I to get to the other end? Unless I'm quote unquote a bad offensive player, but I know my ticket is to play defense. So that's how you view it. And sometimes people don't get when I explain it that way. But, I only played 17 years.
Yeah,
so with multiple teams and 12 coaches and 450 teammates, I would guess I would know a little bit about it.
Well, with that, when you have that many guys offensively out and you start to change that dynamic and there's more missed shots, obviously that's going to completely impact the balance of that, right? And I think people, especially people online that are complaining about this losing streak, completely lost the script there in in the way that works, because without those guys, you're missing more shots. You don't have that balance defensively. It throws everything completely off. And it wouldn't matter if it's superstars or it's other guys in that starting five. It throws off your rhythm and your balance, right?
It does, man. I don't know, man. It's like you sit down to dinner and you all excited to eat, and you look at your plate and it's all vegetables. You thought it was going to be some protein, right? So when you're eating,
I wouldn't know about that.
Well, come on, everybody goes through this. When you're eating, right, and you got the plate in front of you,
mm-hmm.
and you say you got the chicken, you got the vegetables, you got, whatever else. While you're eating, you're putting up with the vegetables because you know it's good for you, but you're looking forward to the damn chicken. Okay? Like, when that plate sits in front of you, the first thing you look at, man, that chicken look good. Okay. Now you can dance around it because you know eventually it's like, oh, forget that, and it's good. That's offense and defense. It's like, when you're an offensive player, I'm thinking about, okay, I'm running the floor, and I'm like, oh, I got this one. I got a layup. Boom, boom. I'm pumped. But when I run back, I'm like, okay, you got to do this now, right? And now you don't look forward to get knocked around and you got to fight through screens and all of that, right? No one loves that. You gonna tell me Josh Okogie really loves fighting through damn screens?
No, he knows it's how he stays on the court.
Exactly. So you have to do it. So he looks forward to what? Josh Okogie been shooting the heck out of the ball lately. You don't think Josh is not more happier that he's knocking down threes than freaking stopping somebody on the other end? Now, he might say that publicly. Give me a freaking break. I've seen the way he dances now after he's scoring. After he's scoring, he's like, yeah. Y'all thought I couldn't shoot. Yeah, I can shoot.
That's a good point. You don't see a lot of dancing on the defensive end. After you get a big stop, there's not a lot of dancing, right?
Matumbo would, and I miss my boy. He passed away a couple of months ago. He'd do the finger wag or, look, some guys really enjoy locking people up. Don't get me wrong. I played with Gary Payton. He enjoyed locking people up. I had to convince Gary to shoot the ball more. I mean, Gary was one of them guys that if he didn't get schooled on, look, man, you can score, you got to be more aggressive, he would enjoy showing up every night, talking smack to people, shutting them down. There's a lot of guys that played in the league defensively that do enjoy playing defense. That's their protein. Without a doubt it is. But most guys, please, man, they want to put that orange ball in the basket.
So I was looking at something last night, and I came across this on my timeline. Basketball Reference has a computer method that projects percentage chance of making the playoffs. So I was looking at the Western Conference. They gave the Suns a 17% chance as of right now to make the playoffs. Why don't we look at the Western Conference standings here? And I want to get your thoughts on this because it seems another one of those cases where the numbers deceive the reality of where a team is and where they're projected to be. Because you got the Suns sitting in 8th place at 9-7 right now, but they're only 3 games back of Golden State in the number 1 seed and a half a game back of the 4th seed Los Angeles Lakers. So obviously one game can flip that completely tomorrow, and you could even see the Suns move all the way up to 4th.
Look,
what do you make of that?
Injuries have played a role so far in this short season, right? I mean, it's pretty obvious. When you are compromised with key guys out, you're going to struggle, especially in the West, because the talent level is just so good, right? So that's what's happened to the Suns. In that regard, top-heavy team with 3 ultra stars. One of those guys go down or 2 of them go down, it's going to affect your team.
Mm-hmm.
You might win a game here or there, but the parity is so tough that it can affect your team. And so the key is to just try to stay healthy. Now, the Suns did a great thing. When they were healthy, they had a tremendous record, right? They were 9-2 before this losing streak. And the injuries happen, and now they've been compromised. Okay, all right, that's fine. But we had house money. So that's what you need to do. Like, Philadelphia, for example, over in the East, they couldn't win a game when Embiid was out. Then Paul George got hurt, Maxey got hurt, and now they just can't win a game because they can't put those three on the floor. They're worse than what we went through last year right now, right? In that regard with their big three. And so they can't win a game. And so that's just the way it is. And so the key is to try to stay healthy as you can. And when you're healthy, you got to win.
Yeah.
You can't blow games when you're favorite and you're healthy. That's how tough the Western Conference is right now. So we're sitting good. I mean, with the injuries we've had, the 5-game losing streak, to be only a few games out of the top spot, think about that.
It's crazy.
What is it like? What 3 games out of the number 1 spot? Come on, stop.
Yeah, half a game out of 4th. I mean,
come on.
It's crazy. Is this the toughest conference you've ever seen, though? Because top to bottom, outside of maybe the Portlands and the Utahs of the world,
and
this
they're
conference is
competitive.
nuts. Yeah, well, yeah.
And they're competitive. You can't beat them easily.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the tanking that we've seen in previous years from teams.
You gotta play.
They could win any night.
That's throughout the league, really. I mean, even the East is. I think at one point in time, I didn't look at it, but at one point in time, it was only 2 teams above 500 in the East. Yeah. Now people will say, "Oh, the East is terrible." I could say it's good parity.
Yeah,
that means most of the teams are beating each other. Yeah. Like other than 2. Cleveland and Boston pretty much running away with it, but everybody else is beating each other. I say that's parity.
Yeah.
I don't say that's bad. Like, I watch a Charlotte team play. They had a chance to beat you every night. Like, they play hard. So, no, I just think it's parity, but it's parity at a higher level in the West because the West is taking advantage of the East. They're winning the games that they should win from the bad teams, and that's what allows them to have a better record than each conference. But the league right now, to me, is in a great place in regards to parity. You turn on League Pass, no matter who's playing, you can probably figure out it could be a good game. Look at San Antonio lately. Everybody thought they'd have one of the worst records in the league this year again. They're a tough team to beat.
Oh, Chris Paul effect.
They beat without a doubt. And that's another story there. He's just simply amazing. Yeah, he hasn't won a title, people. Yeah, okay, he's gotten out of second round, once or twice in his career. But listen, that dude is ridiculous. Yeah. Wherever he goes, it improves. He'll be a head coach in this league if he wants to.
You could argue he kind of is right now with Pop out.
But the guy, Mitch Johnson's doing a good job. He's put in the work, and so I know people will try to lean to that, and hopefully so. I don't think Pop will come back. I don't think he should. I think life is more important. Being on the road by himself, in a hotel room, dealing with what he's dealt with. You don't want to be alone. No. That was always my fear with Al, when Al was traveling with us, Al McCoy, as he got older. And that's why I'm not going to be doing this too much more because, you get a certain age, man, you need to be around people. Yeah. And when you in the NBA and you're a professional sports team, you travel and you're alone. You spend a lot of alone time together. By yourself, rather, in hotels. And so I hope Pop gets better, but I hope he just becomes just a general manager and not do the traveling. But, yeah, Chris has been unreal for them. So, yeah, it's competitive, man. And that's why, we got to get healthy, man, and we got to beat teams we're supposed to beat and then take our chances against the good teams.
Well, I want to talk about, kind of something that's taken over the league, and I want to look back at your career to put it a little bit in context. We'll do that right after this break. All right, I'm here to tell you about our friends over at Circle K. Look, we all need gas for our cars, but we also need some fuel for ourselves in the morning sometimes. I stopped by Circle K right down on 7th Street this morning and get myself a little coffee because I had a late night and I knew I was going to have to put up with Eddie, so I was going to need some energy. And I stopped at Circle K, and I am a member of the Inner Circle. It is a free membership program that you can sign up for by downloading their app. It is super simple. And guess what? You're going to save when you do so. You're going to get 25 cents off your first gallon and first 5 fill-ups. Unbelievable. Then you get 3 cents off per gallon after that. And then you can also get great deals on Frosters, Polar Pops. Right now they are 79 cents for any size. I love our friends over at Circle K. It's super easy to sign up. Join Inner Circle today for free by downloading the Circle K app. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for details. And then I got to tell you, yesterday at Gila River Resorts and Casinos, we had a Cardinals watch party. That was unbelievable. We had the most people we have ever had out there for a watch party to hang out and watch the Seahawks beat the Cardinals, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But they also want to hang out with our Cardinals guys. And I got to tell you, you got to come out to one of these events, Eddie. You'll enjoy it. The Bears game will be on one of the smaller TVs if you want to still punish yourself with that. But you can come out and join us this weekend as the Cardinals take on the Vikings on Sunday morning. A great way to wrap up your Thanksgiving week. Head out to and join us. You can go to gophnx.com/events to RSVP. For that, we'll have food and drink specials. It'll be a great time. Eddie, I brought up before the break that I wanted to talk about something that is kind of changing the NBA that a lot of people don't like, and it's the three-point revolution. The fact that now the game is so predicated on three-point shooting. In fact, the Suns are averaging almost 41 three-point shots a game. They set a franchise record for 57 attempts in one game earlier this season, and the Celtics are leading the league, averaging 50 per game. Do you like the change in basketball and focusing primarily on the three-point shot, or is that something that you look at and think is negatively impacting the game?
Look, I'll say this. These guys, because that's all they do, they can shoot it. I was watching the kid Cam Thomas last night play against Sacramento. Good win, Brooklyn. I cheer against every Western Conference team other than my sons. This dude Cam Thomas is just ridiculous. Like he made a couple of threes off the dribble, moving to his left. He's right-handed, fading away, and just shot it with ease. Like it's like they've practiced it so much now. Like the release and everything is just smooth, like they're taking a 10-footer. I have no issue with guys that can shoot it, taking it. I think it's too many. Yes, I do. It's just me. The way that I grew up playing basketball and how I played the game. I know a 3 is more than a 2. But if that's the case, why is it a lot of guys that play in the NBA that take a ton of threes will never sniff the amount of points I've had in my career, which is plus playoffs over 20,000. And I took 1 a game.
The most you ever took was 2.9. It was with that Rockets team the very last season.
Yes, that's it. So don't tell me that you score more if you're taking a ton of them. I just totally disagree with that. I think rhythm of basketball is great. Steph is the one that they'll always point to. But, it's almost like when Michael Jordan tricked them, where they thought that Michael Jordan was scoring all his points, getting to the rim and dunking on people. But then when you go back and you watch highlights, he was taking a ton of mid-range shots, a ton of them. But, all the highlight sports shows would do what? Show his dunks. That's what they would do. But they show his great plays at the rim. But they would never show his 15-footers. And so as he got older and he started shooting 15-footers, people were like, he can't jump anymore. No, he's just taking more of those now. They're showing them. And so I just love, like, the creation of offense, like being able to run off screens and just show a play develop that leads to a good shot without having to dribble into a good shot. The dribble handoff play, I think, is like the triangle now. It's like, motion that Denver used to run. I like that because it's making them move, but it's only 2 people moving.
Yeah.
It's not the whole team. 3 guys spaced out, two guys handle it. Jokic or Murray, Sabonis or Fox. It's just that type of stuff. I don't know. The beauty of basketball to me is just running a play, man, and everybody's involved. You got screens on the weak side that lead to a jumper because of what you did on the strong side. To me, that was basketball. So, count me in as old, count me in as whatever you want to do. But the beautiful part of basketball, I think, is slowly going away. And that's the part that kind of, makes me sad.
I found it interesting because I looked this up, and your final season with the Suns in 90-91, the Suns averaged 5.3 attempts from deep per game. The Celtics are shooting almost, 10 times as many threes as that in a game. And the league leaders at that time were the Nuggets, shooting 12.9 attempts.
How many points
did
we average?
You guys were well into the hundreds. That's the crazy thing. People think of that era and go, "Oh, it was defense. It's not a lot of scoring." Some of the highest scoring games in NBA history, including the highest scoring game in Suns history, came in those 80s, and they actually played the Nuggets in that game. But that's crazy to me that people think that offense can only happen in this 3-point era when they obviously don't know about what went on in the 80s and how efficient it is. But I think you bring up an interesting point. There's nothing sexy about a mid-range jumper, right? And I think that's the big reason why we've seen the shift, because it's there's something intoxicating about these long threes that Steph's shooting, that a lot of these guys have started to shoot. There was something intoxicating about the way the 7 seconds or less Suns played, and then the evolution of it into the Warriors. And I think the league fell in love with it because of that, as much as the analytics side of it. And the analytics side was just the argument to actually play that way more.
Yeah, a lot to unpack there, and great question. Because first, let me get back to the scoring aspect. I think at the Suns team, when I was on, we averaged 113 or whatever. We scored a ton of points, and we didn't take threes. And then the other misnomer, which, is just funny, deception in this world is just so weird. It truly is, where people will say stuff and they'll get people to believe stuff, and people then don't go do their research. They rely on somebody. Like, if I say something, I really encourage you to go do your research. And if you found that I was wrong or whatever, please DM me or at me. Jump Shot 8. I'm easy, okay? Just do it, because I don't have a problem with admitting I'm wrong. All right, I really don't. If you come at me with respect and, and challenge me on something, I'm cool with it, okay? But the biggest deception, really, is the fact that they think we didn't run back then. Don't you understand? I try to do this all the time, Espo. I try to get people to understand. They always say that, the guys are better athletes now. They run faster. They get up more shots and all that. They only get up more shots because they take them quick. They get up more shots because they're taking them from the 3. They're not wasting any time to get below the 3 to get creative to get another shot. But it doesn't discount if we ran or not. For instance, every time we had to start a play, go back and find film, people, okay, of 80 Suns games. Every play we ran, it started with me and Jeff Hornacek or Dan Marley, whatever. We had to run 94 feet. We had to cross underneath the basket, come out to the play. Every time.
And you had to do it in shorts.
Yes. Those shorts felt good, trust me. It might look uncomfortable to water boys that were watching that, but no. Especially couch potatoes, but they were comfortable because they wasn't dragging on our knee. Think about it. When they lie down here, your knee is hitting it and it's tightening them up. But anyway, we ran. So if I played in today's game, people were like, well, you couldn't run. Are you kidding? That's all I did was run. That was my middle name. I never stood still. So we were in great shape. We enjoyed running. We in fast breaks, 3-on-1, 2-on-1. That's what we did. You don't see that much now. It's gotten better because of the take foul. But we don't see that much anymore. We just see guys running to the 3, stopping at the 3, and they space out. Then when they run back on defense, they run to the 3 because they know the offense is going to run to the 3. They space out. You're not getting 94 feet in.
No.
So it's a difference. And so don't believe the hype when they say, oh, you couldn't run back then. Please. We had pace of play, man. If you go back to the 60s, and if you watch NBA TV, and they'll show the old time games, okay? If you go back, you will see those dudes running, like getting up shots. Like one game, I think I watched the Boston Celtics play with Bob Cool. They got up like 100, and they got up like 115 shots. It's laborious even today to get up that many shots, okay? Think about it. And you all say the pace of play is great because they're taking quick shots and they're taking them from 23 feet. And that's why they love it, because think about it. It used to be you go talk at a camp and they'll say, can you dunk for me? Can you dunk for me? Why? Because they knew they couldn't do it.
Yeah. But now, now anybody can.
Now the three is added onto it because they know they can't do it. They try when they go to gyms and stuff and they can't hit the rim or they break. We see fans come out there. I laugh. That's one of my best times is bring a fan out of the stands and he's got to shoot a free throw or he's got to shoot a three and he's nervous as heck. Cameras on him now and he shoots an air ball. I really love that because I like all the couch potatoes to see that because it just lets you know it's not as easy as you think with 18,000 people watching you do it and the cameras are on you. So yeah, it's that frustration, man. Like, you know, and I'm not this old guy, get off my lawn kind of guy. I love watching the game. I think these guys are tremendous. I think a lot of these guys love the game. I think the love of the game is getting better. Back when I played, everybody loved the game. Everybody loved it. Trust me. We loved the game. We played 3 games in 3 nights. We traveled commercial, stayed in 3-star hotels. If you can walk, if you can walk, you have to play. You know, today's game, you got to be able to walk, run, be able to jump, and you're going to play. But other than that, you won't play. You know,
the biometrics have to say you can too,
is that situation there. So it's a different animal. And look, everything improves in the eyes of how people view it. And people like, you know, they like watching guys chuck up threes all game long. That's what they want to do. But for me, you know, we got 3 of the best mid-range game players in the league. And that's why I enjoy calling Suns games. Yeah. KD doesn't chuck them up all game. Devin doesn't do it all game. And Bradley Beal doesn't. They all can play the mid-range. And that's why I love watching this team play.
I actually think the fact that Devin Booker is so good from mid-range and isn't the guy that's going to go dunk on everybody some night or isn't, you know, pulling up from, you know, 35 feet all the time is why he hasn't traditionally gotten the love that other guys have gotten. Ja Morant got a lot more love than him, than Ant did, a guy that's more athletic. I feel like Devin Booker is one of the guys that does that lost art of that mid-range and does it so damn effectively, yet gets zero love for it until recently. Like it was just disrespectful in the way it was because I don't think people, like to your point, nobody cares about the mid-range. And because it's not sexy, Devin Booker doesn't get the attention.
Yeah. Yeah. It's because, again, but you got to remember, it's not everybody.
Well, that's fair.
It's the ones that like to pick up their phone and they're on social networking all the time. And sometimes we get caught up in like they're the majority. The majority, they don't even get on social networking.
That's fair.
They enjoy watching the game. It's the people, it's the purists that love the game. And they're not very active and it goes with everything. It goes in the political space and all of that. Just a lot of people that don't even comment. They don't have an opinion about it outside of just with their friends or whatever, and they don't feel comfortable in doing it. So it's a lot of people that do miss that brand of basketball, and that's why it's important for Adam Silver and the NBA to keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Don't depend on the people that's making the comments off social networking and tend to think, oh, that's what the people want.
Yeah.
No, a lot of people, they want to see basketball in its purest form, and just because that's the way that they would play. And they would love to see people carve out a great offense in a half-court game and be able to get the ball inside after setting some down screens and boom, just playing and cutting off stuff and all of that. 5 players involved. That's a beautiful part of it. Look, Steve Kerr, he's a mixture of new school and old school. Steve Kerr's offense in Golden State has won multiple championships. They got one of the best records in the league right now. And their roster is nowhere near, I believe, from top to bottom as talented as our roster. But yet they're sitting there with a great record, right? Yeah. He's playing 12 players. They're moving the ball. They're cutting. It's that kind of offense that you love to watch, but you got to commit to it. It's not easy. And some players, it's hard for them to commit to it.
Well, I may have made a giant mistake, and we're going to get to that after the break. I want to tell you about our friends over at Branded Bills. I'm a hat junkie. I have over 60 hats at my house, and I love wearing them daily. I have a problem, Eddie. I have a major problem.
60 hats? I only got 2.
Yeah, but wow. our friends over at Branded Bills are a majority of those hats. I love them. They're comfortable. They're good looking. They're fashionable. And you know what? If you got a business that you're trying to get a little bit more attention for, they'll make custom hats for you. We got some custom PHNX hats coming that I can't wait to wear around town and on the programs. It'll be fantastic. But they also got Suns. They got ASU. They got U of A. So if you're looking to rep your college this week during Territorial Cup week, maybe probably more if you're an ASU fan than a U of A fan, our friends at Branded Bills have you covered. They're a local company from Mesa, Arizona, so you want to support them. Head over to brandedbills.com and use that promo code PHNX. You're going to get 20% off your first order. Great for holidays. Go out there. Check them out, brandedbills.com. And then I mentioned the Territorial Cup. Well, guess what? If you have not gotten tickets for the Territorial Cup yet, you're not too late, because we have a Territorial Cup takeover coming up on Saturday, presented by Neutral and our friends at Branded Bills. You are going to get a pre-game meetup at Bourbon and Ben in Tucson with food and drinks included. You're going to get a Branded Bills hat. You're going to get a ticket to the game, and it's all at an affordable price. You can get in. If you're an ASU fan, you can get down there. You can root for a shot at the Big 12 championship. And if you're a U of A fan, you can spend a little scratch and get in there and root against your hometown or your rival up in Tempe. Root for your hometown team as they try to make a giant upset on the number 14 Sun Devils. So head to gophnx.com/events and get your tickets today. All right, Eddie.
Go
ahead.
You see the game Friday? You see my Blue Devils?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, go down to Tucson.
Yep. Yes, I saw that too.
I know. I'm only messing with him because he's peeking in on the show. But yeah, them Blue Devils went down there.
Yeah, it was not pretty.
Took care of business down there in Tucson. I'm an ASU guy. I didn't go to ASU, but I'm an ASU guy. I live in Phoenix. I'm a fighting Illini guy first and foremost, but I lean toward ASU a little bit.
It's fun to
even
watch.
Though Lute Olson was a good friend. Lute Olson recruited me.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
At Iowa?
Yeah.
Wow.
He recruited me, man, and I told him, like, if you were anywhere else, I would have gone.
So if he was at Arizona at that time,
I would have gone.
Okay.
I would have gone.
Yeah.
I thought Lute Olson this is my Lute Olson moment. Like, I kind of venture off every now and then. It's not because I'm old. It's just because I just, feel like I can get away with it.
It's your show. Go ahead.
But Lute Olson, man, like, Dr. J was the coolest basketball player I've ever seen. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Like, when I saw Dr. J, it was just like the way he walked. He was always like, socks were right, just shorts, man. Doc had the afro. Everything was just perfect about him. I remember when I first played against him, I hope he didn't think I was weird or anything. I just stared at him. Now, I tried to bust him up. Don't get me wrong. But I was just like, he didn't realize how much I really loved watching him. He was so cool. George Gervin was cool, like where he walked. John Drew, if you ever knew him as a player, way John Drew was on the court, he was just smooth, right? Lute Olson was like that on the sideline to me. Like, I watched Lute Olson, man, good looking guy. You could tell that he was in heavy demand when he was single, right? And just his demeanor, man. Just look at some old videos of Lute Olson. He was just cool, man. And when he came into my house and recruited me and sitting there, and he sat there, I was just like, man, because at that point in time, me growing up in the city, I didn't have much interaction with a lot of whites. I didn't. But when he came up in there, man, I was just like, man, that's a cool white dude. Like that, my high school coach was Italian. He was rough around the edges. But Lute Olson was like cool. And I was like, man, I wanted to go play for this guy so bad. And Ronnie Lester was there at Iowa, was a good friend of mine. And I just was thinking about cornfields and just
yeah. You talk about not being around a lot of white guys. You would have been only around white guys in Iowa.
And Lute didn't. He never let me forget it, man. Like he didn't, man. He had an assistant coach named Roethlisberger, which he followed him to Arizona as well. He recruited me, and I kind of hate that. And then Lute used to always come up to Suns games, and he'll see me like, "Oh, you let me down." Like I know Lute. So I'm probably letting him down now. He's looking down at me, and I'm saying I was cheering for the Blue Devils. I would never cheer for Duke in my life. The only reason I like Duke now is because of Grayson. I love Grayson. I like Tyus Jones. I like Mason Plumlee. So Grant Hill's a good friend. But Duke, that's the school. Ugh. But I liked them when Saul lost, though. That's what I wanted.
Yeah, I agree. I just like giving Saul crap. That's one thing you and I have in common. So before the break, I did mention I may have made a giant mistake. And Eddie, I may have done that because I asked our diehards to submit some questions for you. So I want to ask you, these Trash Gamer from our Discord asks, a question I've always wondered is, you played such a small percentage of your career in Phoenix. After you retired, why did you choose to come back to Phoenix and have a post-career career with the Suns?
That's a good question. I actually didn't know what I was going to do. Every city that I played in, people always ask, what was your favorite city? I said every one of them. And they'll say, why is that? I said, because they paid me. I'm not one of them dudes, man, that sit around and say, well, I want to play here, want to play there. I wanted to play in the NBA. I didn't care where I played. When I signed up for the NBA, I signed up to go do my job and play to wherever I was. I played for 23 teams at the time when I got in the league, and it moved itself up to 30 teams before I got out of the league. That was my ambition. That's what I told my other half. I said, look, I'm going to be a gypsy probably at the end of my career because of the way that I play, and we'll move. And we did. From Kansas City to Sacramento, from Sacramento to Phoenix, from Phoenix to Seattle, from Seattle to Charlotte. Took a break from the league for a year. And I'm not, that's out there because I felt depression was taking over me, and I got away from the game for a year. I went and played in Greece, recalibrated myself, came back, Indiana, then Houston. Yeah. And then through all of that, I had to decide where I was going to live. And the story is I didn't ever want to go back to any place cold. My allergies got bad when I lived in Sacramento. It rained too much in Seattle. And I said, Phoenix is that place. I fell in love with golf. And I'm like, that's where I'm going to be. And also my relationship with the Suns front office. Jerry told me, Colangelo said, whenever you're ready to do whatever you want to do when you're done, give me a call.
Cotton was still here at this time,
Cotton was there as well. So that was like my father figure. So I wanted to be close near him. And, but, when I retired, I did ASU for a year. And Jerry called me, said, what do you want to do? And I said, you know what? I don't want to leave my kids, so I'd like to do broadcasting first, maybe change and go something else after that. And all of a sudden, I've been broadcasting for 25 years. So that's why I chose Phoenix. Golf became number one, man. It's the golf capital of the country. Why would I want to go anywhere else?
All right. My name is Fat Mike says, wants to hear your thoughts on injuries in the league. Since you played in a more physical era, we're always comparing it. Paul George said on his podcast a while back that he thought the reason we are seeing more injuries in today's league is because teams aren't doing hard practices often, and that the way the games are scheduled now, when guys get rest, they're usually single days more often rather than multiple consecutive days, less frequent. So less nagging injuries persist. You agree with that?
Yeah. And Paul is like, I'm very close to Paul George. He and my son went to Fresno State, and I've been knowing Paul since he's 18 years old. And what he just said, I wish he'd say more often on his podcast. I wish he would. That's it, man. Like, they don't practice enough. Like, if you're going to run a marathon, wouldn't you run a marathon to get ready for a marathon?
You would hope so.
That's the problem, man. Like, you get these players, they have voted, the Players Association, over the years, they have gotten what they wanted in regards to being practiced. And training camps aren't long. We used to go 28 days of two-a-days before the season started. I am not kidding you. Sometimes we would go 3 practices. After the 3rd or 4th practice, your body, it felt like you'd get up in the morning and it felt like you couldn't even walk. You were that sore. But we'll practice hard that day. The soreness went away because your body said, you know what? This fool not stopping. Because the only reason your body fights you is because they don't like what you're doing. Once it gets used to what you're doing, it says, okay, he's not going to stop. So now I'm going to recalibrate and I'm going to adjust for this. And you get ready for it. And so the stretching aspect of it, all of that adds to it. And I think a lot of players, they get into training camp, they're in shape, but they're not in NBA basketball everyday playing shape. Their body is not ready for it yet. And they have the lower leg injuries. And a lot of it is just your body sending you a false signal too. Like, okay, this is hurt. But it's really getting you to stop. The body is an amazing machine. And you have to get to know it. We have players in this league that have done that. LeBron is at the top. Say what you want. And you got people say, well, he's doing something else. He's doing something to his body. Because to them, it's so weird that he's able to do what he's doing at 40 years old that they think he's cheating.
He just understands his body.
Because you think about it, that's the couch potato. Mm-hmm. See, the couch potato would rather say you're cheating, right?
Yes.
To get in shape and be like he is and have that body, than to say, oh, no, he's spending over $1 million on his body. He's stretching every day. He's first in practice. He's running extra. That's why. They don't want to say that.
Yeah.
Because then they're giving in to something that they're not doing. And it's a lot of NBA players that they fall into the category of couch potatoes. In the off season, they're not doing jack squat. They're not. They go in the gym and shoot around and try to fool people like they're working out. But they're not doing the other stuff. They're not eating right. They're not stretching. They're not doing all those things. They show up here early in the year and you see all these lower leg injuries.
Yeah.
Come on. We've never had this many lower leg injuries when we played.
Yeah.
Never. I pulled my hamstring one time. I didn't even pull it. I just strained it, and I kept playing, okay? The only thing that ever set me down is I had 3 calf issues in my career, okay? 2 of them, it was like middle to end of my career, late 20s, 30s, 1 year here in Phoenix, 2 in Phoenix with my calf. I woke up one morning, my back was out, calf issue, but it was really my back. Another time, Mike Brown, who played for Utah, kicked me in my calf. I was out a month. I had a dislocated shoulder. Sam Mitchell got tangled up with him, and he twisted my shoulder. I was really screaming at Cotton and posting him up. Cotton was telling me to get out of the post. I was like, I'm not getting out of the post, and got ticked off, and I dislocated my shoulder. That was it.
Yeah.
That was it. Played in over 96, 97% of the games presented to me in my career. And it's because I stretched. It's because I was always in shape. Guys aren't in shape like they should be, and they're getting these injuries, and that's on them.
Hey, if you're watching us on television, head over to gophnx.com. You can watch us live there as we continue the conversation. One other thing on practice. I feel like when we hear the word practice, we hear Allen Iverson in our head now. We're talking about practice. But to me, I think the average fan doesn't understand how important that is in kind of getting things right when things are going wrong. Like the Suns played, what was it? Like 5 games in 7 days. There's no room for practice in there when you're losing in a losing streak. How much is that overlooked? The importance of being able to get in the gym and fixing those
Very
things.
important. I stayed in the gym when I played. I committed myself to my season. And a lot of players do it. So I'm not trying to say I'm over here and they're over here. A lot of players do it in the league, but a lot of players don't. And you commit yourself to your season, and you don't complain about what's in front of you. Okay, they're playing 5 games in 7 days. They're flying commercial. Okay, they're getting off the plane. They're getting right there on the bus. They're going to a 5-star hotel. They're not taking their luggage up. Somebody else is putting their luggage in their room.
Shout out
What's
Jay
so
Gaspar.
freaking tiring about that?
Yeah.
You love playing basketball. You're being treated like royalty. You have massage therapists, which we didn't have. You got nutritionists following you. You got a meal every day down in a ballroom, 3 meals a day. What is so difficult about actually just going to play the game after being spoiled like that?
No.
Like, I travel with the team. I'm amazed at some of the things that they have in front of them. I wish I would have had those things. I would have played 25 years. I literally would have. I had teams calling me after I was 40 years old, wanting me to see if I can come play for them. Like, if I had all those things, I would have been able to do it. So, no. I mean, it's like, these guys, you can't complain about the greatness of what they have in front of them right now. Cotton one time in a back-to-back-to-back, I was playing in Kansas City. Literally a back-to-back-to-back in 3 time zones.
Jeez.
3 time zones. Getting up at 4 a.m, okay? Taking a flight to the next city on a commercial airline. Well, you sit next to somebody you don't even know, and he recognizes who you is. He trying to talk basketball. All right? He played me 48 minutes every game. I never came out of the game.
Yeah.
Was I tired? No. I wasn't. Like, I loved it. And he knew I loved it. So, it's mental. It's a desire to want to do it. And I think these guys have so much more going on with them. They got a commercial shoot. They got this. They got that. Is that they prioritize. And then they try to put fatigue on it, that they're tired. No, you're not tired if you focus on doing what you're supposed to do. And that's play basketball.
All right. The last question isn't from the Discord. It's from me. We've been very cordial throughout this show. And like I said at the top, I'm a little uncomfortable by it. So this question, I think it was 2012, a fashion show for the Suns unveiling of the jerseys. They did kind of a show of the, kind of the evolution of jerseys. You were in it, wearing the short shorts.
Yeah.
You put baby oil on before that, didn't you? On the legs. You oiled up, didn't you?
I oil up all the time, bro. Look, when you got beautiful legs, you show them off like a woman, a pretty woman puts on makeup. She doesn't really have to do it. I mean, just an accent. Just an accent. Like I would have wore a body shirt and just showed them off, but I had a 9-pack going on then. Okay.
I laughed. You were the only ex-player that took it so seriously and came out trying to look like you were still playing.
If I'm going to wear the uniform, I want to look. Yeah, that's a uniform. Look, people will tell you. Charles Barkley will tell you. He's always giving me a hard time. Like getting me getting dressed for a game, like put my uniform on, was like a presentation. Yeah, it was. I was. You see old photos of me in my uniform. You'll see my jersey tucked in, nice and tight, fitting my body right. My socks were right. No, like, gotta go out and present yourself, man.
So what you're telling me is today wasn't important? You came into the sweatsuit and you're working with me, so you said, presentation doesn't matter?
Well, first of all, I don't wear blue jeans anymore. I think those are, and all due respect to the people who make blue jeans, I'm not trying to discount you because I have a lot of them. I gave them away. I don't wear blue jeans anymore.
That's fair.
I wear Lululemons tight. I wear the little tight, to fit the accent the legs. That's all I got left. I got that in the biceps. I'm telling you, man. I'm just trying to work on this gut, get it right. So yeah. Nah, so I made now Espo's not gonna wear jeans anymore.
Yep, you shame me out of jeans. I'll just wear my tight Lululemon the next time we do this.
I'd love to see that.
Look, man, I got to tell you, I joke with you a lot, but it is a privilege to do this with you.
You're my man. You know that.
Yeah, I mean,
look, if I don't give you a hard time, that's when you need to wonder.
Oh, I know. Believe me, I know.
I tell people that all the time. I said, if I don't give you a hard time, because people that know me, and they'll tell you this, and it's weird, is I'm very quiet. People don't know that. Like, they see me here in this situation. They see me on TV. They'll, tune into my SiriusXM radio show today, every day, Monday through Friday, with Justin Termini. I'll give you your love, you punk. I mean, he's a punk too, but we on from 4 to 7 Eastern time, 2 to 5 Phoenix time, every 5 days a week. I talk all NBA. But people that know me will tell you, quiet. Like, I don't talk. I'll go to ventures. I'll go different places. And if I'm not there to do something, very reserved and quiet. Because that's really me. Grew up like that. And, my wife over the years when I was really quiet was mad because I wouldn't talk. And people trip out when I say that, but I'm a loner. When I'm not doing this, I'm in the house, I'm either on the golf course or I'm in the house. And that's what I do. Yeah. And so it's just, I love doing this. It gives me exercise. Yeah. To come talk and go at you and go at K-Ray and Leander and Tom Chambers and all of that. And then I go about my business. And I play Madden, though. So I tweeted it out. I'm not going to do it again, but I do play Madden. That's my hookup.
I'm never playing you. I would get my ass kicked.
I love playing Madden. And I think that game is the most unbelievable game that's ever been made. I mean, it's so realistic. I'm in my room, got my big screen. I play about maybe 6-7 games a day, and I love it. So I tweeted it out. So if you want to send me and you want to get on, be one of my friends, hook me up.
I won't let you kick my ass. He is Eddie Johnson. You can follow him at JumpShot8 on Twitter. You can listen to him on Sirius XM 2 to 5 Arizona time, a show that his co-host Justin Termini has had me on, but Eddie has not had me on. And you can also catch him on Suns broadcasts every time the Suns play. You can follow me at Espo. You can follow the show at PHNX_Suns. And until next week, when Saul will be back in this chair, we'll see you later.
Later.